Hello students. Today in BA chapter number 2 Principles of Management, and today we are doing a real heart of Principles of Management. It means thought of management. Up to last lecture we have already done. Actually there is three parts of the thoughts of management. 1900 to 1930, 1930 to 1960 and 1960 and above, that we have done in last lecture. Classical theory 1900 to 1930. Neoclassical theory here 1930 to 1960, and above 1960 modern theory is done. As time passed, new additions are done, limitations are removed, and new theories are added, and new principles are added. So it becomes the modern theory at last. Now, what is the differences made in this all theories that we are going to do today? So here three parts are there: classical theory, neoclassical theory, and modern theory. Now what is the difference? Why this is the classical theory? Because basically first time introduction of the theory, introduction of experiences, first time made by these persons are given. So it's a classical because first time given. Then after some limitation of this are eliminated and new theories are added. That is neoclassical theory. And even these limitations are also eliminated and modern theory is applicable. That is modern theory, modern way. Now one by one we are clearing all the theories. That is first one, classical theory. Now presented till the end of 19th century, theories presented till the end of 19th century is known as classical theory. Now which is the classical theory? What is classical theory? Right meaning of classical theory, right concept of classical theory. One marker question may be asked in the exam. Then what we have to write? Simple. Theories which are presented till the end of 19th century is known as classical theory. That's it. Nothing else. And it is a basic first time introduction of theories. Experiences shared by management gurus. Going ahead, who are the promoters of classical theory? One marker question may be there. Who are the promoters of classical theory? So Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, Max Weber, Gilbert, Henry Gunt. These are the five persons who are the promoters of classical theory. And from this, we are understanding here only for three: Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, and Max Weber. Now talking about first classification of this classical theory as per Frederick Taylor. Now Frederick Taylor is a provider of scientific management. So he is a father of scientific management. That we have already discussed in last lecture also. So Frederick Taylor, founder of scientific management, and that's why he is a father of scientific management. Now what Taylor has done? So as per Taylor, time and motion study in place of traditional method is implemented. Before that, time and motion studies were not there. As per Frederick Taylor, time and motion study done and it is implemented instead of traditional methods. So, what is the new thing in scientific management? Time study, motion study. Even one study is also there, that is wages system. So, which are the three parts as per Frederick Taylor that are given here? First is specialization in management. Management special field is that. Specialization done in management. One thing. Second, progressive wage system. Now what is the progressive wage system? It means some worker is working more in the firm, then he will pay more wages. It is also known as piece wage system. More production done by worker, more wages paid to worker. Less production done by worker, less payment given to worker. So second is progressive wage system. Third, scientific distribution of work and responsibility. Work and responsibility distributed scientifically. It means a person is best in his work, give them that work only. As per his quality, give responsibility to them. So these three things are included in management principles by Frederick Taylor, and these are the part of scientific management. So what are the parts? Which are the parts? Three parts only as per Frederick Taylor. First is what? Specialization in management. Second is what? Progressive wage system. And third, scientific distribution of work and responsibility. Given responsibility, given work as per scientific methods. So these principles are introduced by Frederick Taylor in classical theory. Now going ahead, second one is Henry Fayol. Now, general management principles provided by Henry Fayol. So administration principle, general management principles are provided by Henry Fayol. So what Henry Fayol has done? General principles of management provided by Henry Fayol. And Henry Fayol has done different levels of functions and set limit of the functions. So whole industrial unit is divided into 6 parts as per the functional levels. Levels made by Henry Fayol. And every work set limit. For every work, limit is set. Within this time period, this work should be completed. That limit is set by Henry Fayol. So first is general principles of management given by Henry Fayol for the industrial units. Different levels of functions divided, 6 parts. Management functions are divided, industrial functions are divided, and limit of the work is decided. And these principles are applicable to each and every unit. It's a business unit or other units. In each and every unit, these general principles are applicable, so it is a universally accepted principles. So whatever principles given by Henry Fayol that are acceptable, universally accepted principles. And that is also the part of classical theory. So in classical theory, Frederick Taylor, scientific management. Second, Henry Fayol, administrative general management principles given by Henry Fayol. And last one, Max Weber provides bureaucratic management. Same at the time of Henry Fayol's principle, these principles are given by Max Weber also. At the same time, here Henry Fayol presenting his principle, Max Weber presenting his own principles. Henry Fayol's principle is general principles of management and Max Weber's principle is related to bureaucratic management. So these are the 3 main persons who have introduced their own principles of management, and that are from classical theories. Now in classical theory, there is the limitation. There is 3 limitations. Importance is to given financial motivation. Here what is the main motive? Financial importance given. Motivation given by finance. More work is done, more money given to the worker. That is the limitation. Two main aspects are not considered in classical theory. That is less importance to human approach and less importance to informal relation. In classical theory, there is no relation between humans or less importance given to relations. And that is the limitation less importance to human approach and less importance to informal relation. And that's why to eliminate this limitation, new theory which changes, that is neoclassical theory. So here in neoclassical theory, to remove certain limitation of classical theory, new approaches established, and that new approaches established are called neoclassical theory. Now what is neoclassical theory? Limitation of this classical theory eliminated and new principles are established, and that is neoclassical theory. Now who is a promoter? Elton Mayo is a promoter of neoclassical theory. Now supporters are there. So contribution in neoclassical theory, Elton Mayo himself and others, Herzberg, Rensis, Charles, MacGregor, Maslow. These are the persons who have contributed for neoclassical theories. And what is in neoclassical theory? So there is three branches. In neoclassical theory, more concentration is done on these three classes. First, human behavior. Here, limitation, human approach is not considered, human relation, informal relation is not considered. Here, concentration is on human behavior. Second is social mechanism thought, social thoughts, social arrangement thought. These three thoughts are considered in neoclassical theory and new principles are adopted. Now here, only this one, human behavior approach is in detail. These two approaches we are not considering. In textbook only, human behavior is given. Now what is human behavior? So human behavior approach given importance. It means relation with the employees is given very importance to our employees or workers. Relation is very important. If we are maintaining relation with our employees, then we can get maximum benefit from the employees. That concept is taken into consideration here. So behavior approach given importance here. Human behavior approach. Second thing is what? Employees considered social, not economical. Here employees are considered social being, not an economical being. Our employees are not a machine for our institution. They are social persons. We have to behave like that so that they are getting happiness from us. They happily can work in the business unit, then definitely they are beneficial to us. If we are considering them for economic purpose only, then maybe they are not attached with us and may not be getting maximum benefit from them. So here what is considered? Employees are considered as a social being, not a economical being. This is the second point, human behavior approach. Third one, using psychology. Using psychological observations, job satisfaction and efficiency of the employees increase. Now psychological observation. By different psychological observation, we are satisfying our employees and efficiency of the employees increase. Because ultimately, by increasing efficiency of our employee, we are getting maximum benefit from them. And that is our target. What at last? At last, we need to achieve our business objectives. And that is by what? Human behavior. And that is the main topic of neoclassical theory. And it's a limitation of classical theory. And this limitation is eliminated by neoclassical theory. As per Professor Urvik, what Professor Urvik say? You have to concentrate on your men. It means you manage your men. your man will manage rest of all. You have to concentrate on your men, satisfy your men, improve their efficiency, make them happy, give them proper work as per the choice, as per the quality of them, give their work so that they are satisfied and get giving maximum benefit to us. So you manage your man will manage rest of all. That is given by Professor Wick. And even 2 marker question can be asked in your examination also. Explain. You manage your man will manage rest of all. Explain it. That we will discuss in next lecture also. But what is the total things here? Human behavior. Sometimes 2 marker question asked in the examination. Explain human behavior. So in that we have to explain this all the things. Next topic is informal organization. What is included in human behavior? Informal organization. It means friendly relation. It means friendly relation between the employees. Friendly atmosphere created like Google. All of you know in Google company, Google offices, friendly relationships are there. Atmosphere created. So informal organization, motivation given to employee, leadership provided, interhuman relation, disposal of dispute, any disputes. This all the things are included in human behavior. And what is the limitation? Here human behavior are in the center, and that is the limitation. Sometimes in maintaining human behavior, productivity lost, and that is economical factor is not considered here. That is the limitation of neoclassical theory. So here limitation is human relations are maintained at the cost of productivity, and that is the limitation. Because economical factor is not considered, here we are maintaining human relations, and in maintaining human relation, productivity is not considered. That is the limitation. But even I can say this concept gives maximum benefit to industries, to business units, and it's a fact. Now 2 concepts are clear. First thing, classical theory. Main 3 persons: Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, Max Weber. Its limitation, importance to economical factor, financial factor, financial motivation is there, but less importance to human approach and informal relation. And this limitation is eliminated by new classical theory. Here human behavior is the center. Social mechanism and social arrangement thoughts are there. Human behavior means what? That is discussed. And humans are in the center here. That's why we can say it is the limitation, because productivity is not considered. At the cost of productivity, we are maintaining human relation, and that is not a good for the company, good for the organization. And after 1960, huge industries are in the market. Liberalization policies are there. Many companies are established in the societies, and that's why modern theory comes into existence. New principles are introduced in the market. That is, after 1960s, change occur in the form of industry and business unit. Spatial theory with extension of classical and neoclassical made is called modern theory. Here classical theories are there, neoclassical theories are also there, but extension of it, more are added because of industries change, form of industries change, and business units are new introduced in the market. So modern theories, and that extension is called modern theory. Now who are the promoters? So promoters are Peter Drucker, and that's why Peter Drucker is the father of modern theory. Kunz O'Donnell, George Terry, William Ochi, and C.K. Prahlad. These are the promoters of modern theory. Now, what is modern theory? New technologies, new things are added, not only considering business unit. Except business unit, specialization fields are there that are also included in management. That is what included many concepts, that is psychology, social studies, mathematics, computer, information technology. This all the things are included in management. So that because of this new concepts, maximum benefits we can get, and that is modern theories. New technologies are introduced in the business unit so that production becomes fast, quality can be maintained very easily, minimum time, maximum production. This all the things possible because of this specialization, and that is the modern theory. Who is the promoter? Main is Peter Drucker. He is the father of modern management, modern theories. So here, these are the three concepts: 1900 to 1930, 1930 to 1960, and after 1960, modern theory up to today. These theories are changing as per the changing environment and getting maximum benefit from the business. Now, from the next lectures in detail, which are the principles provided by Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, and this Peter Drucker, that we will discuss. Today is the maximum things covered related to concepts. Bye bye. Meet you in next lecture.